Welcome to the Homestand Sports Show. Albert Vartanian with my boys, J Unit,
What's
Justin,
up?
and Jelani. Let's start off with the news of the day. Justin, Auston Matthews, according to Leafs PR, out of the lineup for a minimum of 3 weeks due to a knee sprain. Leafs host the Sens tonight. Looks like Pontus Goldberg gets the bump in second line. 5 goals, 7 assists in 30 games.
I thought the news of the day was that you got $5 jerk chicken delivered.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was the bigger
Talk about
news.
that.
Oh, there's this place called Mainsha in Toronto. I don't know. I think it's on Wilson. $5 jerk chicken. Not bad.
You can't find that anywhere.
I got the barbecue chicken's good.
Bro, I walked in that back room and it smelled amazing.
It's nice, man. I mean,
Okay.
But you know what's not nice,
I'll have
though?
to consider.
You got to try it.
Auston Matthews out for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That's
Another injury.
worrisome, right? And especially with a knee, something that could linger like that. If I'm the Toronto Maple Leafs, look, you're pretty much locked into the second spot in the Atlantic Division. Just take, I know they said 3 weeks, but if it takes 4 weeks, 5 weeks, take as much time as you need with Auston Matthews.
But you know what? It's a good time because
the
if you
All-Star
look at their
break's coming up.
schedule, after Saturday, they play just one game in a 10-day span after the All-Star break. So
Yeah, it's good. And I know, like, producer Stevie Z loves his boy,
Yes, Stevie.
Pontus Holmberg.
Yeah.
Stevie.
Right? So, look, that's another opportunity for somebody to step up, right? But also, how does this affect the Leafs going to the trade deadline, right? I know they're in talks with my boy Bo Horvat out in Vancouver.
yeah,
Some
I don't
rumors
know.
there.
The thing with Bo Horvat,
Timo Meyer, maybe.
the thing with Horvat is that the Canucks want a ransom. They want
do.
so much.
They
So
deserve a
I just
ransom
don't know
for
if the Leafs are in that market right now. I was just having this conversation with Mikey Singh, talking about what do the Leafs actually need to do? Do they need a big move? Like, based on this team right now, I think they can make a run to the conference final. But with that said, they have to get over that
Can
first
they win
round.
a round?
That's what I'm saying, right? If they get over that those
0-4,
first round
bro.
demons,
Yeah.
they have the team to do it.
For sure.
Unfortunately, you got to go through Tampa and Boston
Tampa.
most likely. But that's what I'm saying. You don't need a big blockbuster move.
I don't think they need to look. I said it like last year. This team was better than Tampa last year. They should have beat Tampa.
Dude, Jack Campbell went toe to toe with Vasilevsky. You
did.
can argue that he was actually better.
But the difference was that Tampa has that experience when it's tight. They just shut the water off, right? And they basically
Shut the water
They
off.
shut the
I don't think I've
water
ever heard that one.
I like
before.
that one.
They
though.
shut the water off, and the Leafs.
It's like when
died
you
a
leave
slow-
on a vacation, you shut the water off your house so
Absolutely,
you don't
yes.
come back to a league.
Exactly,
Albert
exactly.
knows. Albert
Justin.
knows.
Albert knows ball.
I didn't, honestly, I didn't recognize your game.
Thank you. My game is
Is that how the
gargantuan.
saying goes? How's the saying
I'm
go?
unfamiliar with your game.
I was,
Justin.
I said
My
it in like
game-
the worst way
my,
possible.
my game is definitely gargantuan.
Stevie Z, can Stevie Z get on the mic here?
Absolutely. Can't even
Yeah.
if you can figure it
Stevie,
out.
so Stevie Z is the producer.
He's also a big Leafs
Thoughts
guy.
on what the Leafs should do at the deadline?
Resident Leaf fan.
Come on,
Yeah,
let's hear it.
I think they need a top 9 forward, if at all possible, because if you look at Kyle Dubas and his coaching staff, like, there's no tomorrow for these guys if they don't at least make it out of the first or second round. So I think they need to make a big splash. If you need to trade a pick or like a Matthew Nyes, I think you do that. I really think our D has gotten a lot better. I really think they need a forward,
See,
a physical forward heading into the
the
playoffs.
thing with me with the Leafs is their D-course. You guys were talking about it yesterday.
I like their decor.
Morgan Riley, what's going on with him, though?
Yeah, but he can still bounce back, right? If you were to rank their demon right now,
You guys
go
were saying
health-
TJ Brody's their best defenseman.
well, healthy Brody, right? Giordano, Liljegren.
But you look at the East and how it stacks up, right? You got guys like Hedman and
Right.
these other just horses that could go 30 minutes. Do you want to
That's
trot?
the difference.
Do you want to trot a guy like TJ Brody, Morgan Riley, whoever, Mark Giordano, his advantage stage, 30+ minutes a game? I don't think you can do that.
Oh, these are your guys now. I mean, losing Muzzin was huge, so they might have to fill in somewhere. I heard Radko Gudas, and there's so many
Radko
rumors.
Gudas is a human pylon.
Yes, but anyway, so Leafs in action tonight against the Sens
They
at
gonna
home,
win?
favored -205.
W or L?
It's got to be a W, right?
Ottawa's.
But they play down. Leafs always play down to the teams.
Me and you talked about at the beginning of the hockey season. I thought Ottawa was going to be a playoff team.
Everyone did.
Everybody, and I think they were. And producer Stevie Z's laughing his ass off right now because he's telling me you're an idiot for picking.
I never had him in the playoffs, just for the record. Never.
Exactly, we know that. So, but I did have Mitch Marner to have less points than Elias Pettersson, which is looking good right now.
Uh-oh.
Producer
Right.
See how it plays out. They're like neck and neck, right?
You know, I do love Marner's game. But back to speaking of rumors in terms of trades and what the Leafs are going to do. And what the hell are the Raptors going to do?
Man, they're
NBA
all
trade deadline. I'm
hot,
sure you guys are tired of this, but I want to hit it from a different direction.
Okay.
The deadline's February 9th. I don't understand how a 7-game road trip can determine what you're going to do at the deadline and what you're going to do with your future. That may not be the case, right? Everybody's yelling for commit to the tank, and I'm with that as well. But with that said, no one is explaining what does that tank mean? Is it a season? Is it 2 seasons? Is it 3 seasons? Who leaves? Who goes? Jelani, that's what I want to know. What is your version of a Toronto Raptors tank?
I mean, I say get rid of this Vision 6-9. We talk about it all the time, right? And
So who goes?
Yeah, so in that aspect, like OG Anunoby, right? We want to keep him. A lot of Raptors fans love him. But for me, I think this is the peak that you're going to get in terms of his trade value. Because offensively, he's been giving you 17 points per game. So that's his career high, rebounding career high. And defensively, he's been balling all year long. And we know he's been a good defender throughout his career. But now we've been seeing stretches where he's looking like the best in the league from the wing spot defensively. So you're not going to get a haul like this right now. So if you're the Raptors, you have to consider OG. I know they don't want to let him go. They haven't even made him available at this point. But if there are teams, there are contenders out there, especially in the Western Conference, who want him, you have to at least consider that. They want multiple picks, and then probably some young players as well. I think this whole thing, Gary and Fred, to me, I think that Gary, he's good, but I just don't know if I want him long term.
Right.
That's just me. I don't know if I want him long term. Does he wants like 25 M's plus, right? I don't know if I want to give him that. Fred, he's a good shooter. You saw him in the 3-point contest last year, right? But this year, he's not the same dude. Okay, let's face it, right? He wants a big bag. He just signed with Clutch. We talked about that today. He wants that big bag.
And where do you go to get money?
Hey man,
Rich Paul.
Rich Paul.
Yeah. So can you rely on Fred moving forward? I don't know. These cornerstones, Fred, Pascal, OG and stuff like that. We've met our match. Okay, there's a ceiling there, right? So for me, I think we go young. Just go young. So it's probably going to take a couple of years.
Yeah.
Right. There's going to be some down years. Raptors fans understand that it was worse than this at one point.
Albert, you know all about
I
that.
do.
Right?
Well, this is what
I think take a few years to get youth in there. I think they need a youth movement.
Yeah.
And all the time I've been saying they need, okay, you're not going to get a superstar in the market. Okay. There's no guy coming to Toronto. Okay. Free agency trade is tough. We'll see what happens in trades. But if you have a shot at a top pick, they have a 7.5% chance right now. If it started right now to get that top pick, you do it.
Right.
If not, you're gonna get somebody in that lottery, in the upper half of that lottery. You do it.
Which is being said to be the next best draft since 03, which is saying a lot.
They're saying
If you get like a top 6 pick, which they can do, I mean, I keep looking at that New Orleans pick, that swap pick with the Lakers.
Beautiful.
You send OG there, you get that. I mean, okay, you don't get Wembanyama, let's say, but you get maybe Henderson or one of the twins.
And then one of exactly. Another top 5 pick. But
sorry to cut you off, but back to what you were saying, the Raptors have built enough collateral or credit in the bank over the past decade that the fans will understand.
The title,
2 or 3 seasons is fine because as long
Well,
as you're building.
I think they're spoiled now. I
Yes,
think the Raptors
they
fans
are.
are spoiled
But I
because
think-
they
for
saw
sure
the last
Raptors
decade.
fans
They're like,
spoiled.
no,
Exactly.
we got to go to the playoffs. We got to make a deep run. We got to go to the finals again. What's going on?
also,
You got to have a plan. You don't want to have this aimless tank. You don't want to be like Indiana, like middling.
No,
you
but
know what I mean?
think I would trust Masai and Bobby in it if we
For
For
do
sure.
blow
If there's
it.
a plan,
I would.
okay, we're keeping Scotty and we're keeping Siakam.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's a whole nother conversation we
Right,
got to have.
right,
How does Siakam feel about this? Because
Right.
he probably wants to make all NBA, get that Supermax. He wants to play.
of course. When I look at it, right, when I look at the whole Toronto Raptors situation, look, I'd keep Scotty Barnes, young player with.
I think that he's the untouchable. Has to be.
He is. Now, is his ceiling as high as other prospects? No. But I think he could cap out as like a 4 to 5 time All-Star.
Which is great
around the
because-
same level as like a DeMar DeRozan, Kyle Lowry type of player. He won't be the one
No,
on
but
a
he's an
championship team.
all-star
But
guy.
this is what I'm saying. They have all these other assets. Apparently, somebody offered 3 first-round picks for OG Anunoby, the Knicks. I would do that, right? Gary Trent, Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam. You could recoup a whole bunch of assets that you could then flip to bring in more established stars. Because that's the only way you're going to get players
that's true.
is to Toronto is to be a trade or
Either
be a
trade or
draft.
draft.
And
So-
what I'm saying is, what I've been trying to say is, the rebuild might not be that long. You could
No.
take a step back to take 2 steps forward.
I
right?
say it's gonna be like 2 years.
Exactly.
maybe,
You
something like that.
trade these guys off. You acquire a bunch of assets and you flip those assets, whether it's expiring contracts or draft capital or whatever, to bring in more established players. Because we know Masai Ujiri wants to win a title. He said, "I'm not in the tanking game. I'm not in that whole trust the process bullshit
right.
that the Sixers did. I want to win titles and we're going to win in Toronto." I think that's the best way to accelerate
And there's
another era of the
there's a
Raptors
team-
being a championship contender.
There's some teams that do that too, right? Like it's on a lesser scale, but look at the Pelicans. Okay, they were in a tough spot after AD, right? And they moved off of him. They moved off of other guys, but then they got young pieces in the door.
Yeah.
Also with veterans too via trades. Okay, they got some good draft picks in the door. Now look at them. Now they're a player in the Western Conference, right? Same thing with the Grizzlies. They had some down years, right? After that whole Grind City thing, it wasn't looking good. They were like, oh, should we keep Conley? Should we not? They moved off of him. They moved off of other vets. Then they brought in an influx of youth, right? Now look at the Grizzlies. So I'm saying it's possible that the Raptors could do that, right? Understanding, yes, Pascal's an all-star, right? You don't want to let go of him. But again, there's plenty of teams out there that would love Pascal Siakam and would give you a lot of things for him. I'm talking picks, high picks, good valuable picks, even in the first round, late first round, because some of those guys pan out. Or you get yourself some guys that can help you just hold down the fort for a while until you get back to that spot. So if you're the Raptors right now, Masai Ujiri, I think Justin just said it. You want to win a championship every single year. We understand that. But he also knows that there's a ceiling with what's going on. We've seen it. We've seen it the past few years. You're not going anywhere.
Look what Boston did. They went from that KG, Paul Pierce era, they may have had like one down year, then they picked it right back up.
With Tatum, as soon as they got Tatum, Brown in the door.
These things take time. But you know what? If the Raptors do commit to the tank, likely Siakam's going to stay. Now, how do you spin that to Siakam? Hey, listen, we're going to cap your minutes. Oh, you got a couple bruises? You're sitting this game. No, seriously. That's the conversation. You have to take him off the court. And I think the Raptors have a good base for a tank because think about Nick Nurse, right? He wants to win every single game.
Absolutely.
He's riding his starters into the ground because he doesn't trust that bench. Now you commit to the tank, you're playing a lot more of that bench. You're going to lose a lot more games, but you have to convince two people most likely. Pascal Siakam and Nick Nurse. Yeah. So what happens with Nick Nurse now?
Look, I think Nick Nurse, I know a lot of fans are getting on him, but if you look at the end of the day, right, the last 10, Jelani's favorite stat, the last 10 years, only the Clippers and Dubs have won more games than the Toronto Raptors, right? Masai and Nick Nurse together, I think is a top 5 coach-executive combo in the entire NBA. Top 5. They built a great culture here, right? But, like you said, he doesn't trust the depth on his roster, and he rides his horses. I don't know about Pascal Siakam, how he's going to take that, right? And I know if they go in the tank, and I know people don't want...
He also might not have a choice.
He might not have a choice. If Masai Ujiri said, you got to do what you got to do, right? But, look, if you're going to tank, you got to trade Pascal Siakam. You have to do it because he can bring you the most. I think so too. And he's getting up there in age. He's almost 30. Yeah. What's a 30-year-old want to do? John Wall, on a podcast last week, talked major shit about how he did not like to play in the tanking Rockets, right? So you can get an absolute king's ransom for Pascal Siakam. That can kickstart any rebuild, any retool, anything like that.
What about Nick Nurse?
Nick Nurse, I mean, you're looking at what he's done with us. He started as the assistant, a long time ago when Masai came in the door. So he's paid his dues. So I think Masai, he respects him. He loves him. I don't see him getting fired. I see a lot of people wanting him fired.
Oh, what if Nick Nurse walks?
Yeah, but if he walks, then, you're definitely square one.
Yeah,
right?
And then
it's hard. It's hard to find
the guy wants to win, right?
Yeah, it's hard to find a coach. It's hard to find a good coach, and that's what
Nick
is.
Coach.
Great
listen,
coach.
if Nick Nurse is on the open market,
oh my gosh,
every
team in the league.
Remember those Lakers rumors? They wanted him so badly, they were willing to do whatever. Right?
It'll be. Masai has to. There's a lot to consider here.
Absolutely,
it's not just like let's tank, let's not tank. And just quickly, I know we're probably going over time, but if they do decide to become buyers, let's say they win their road trip out, which you never know.
Right?
Based on that Kings game, you're like, well, you know what? They can probably do it. If they do, it is fool's gold.
Yeah, I think they lose it.
And they become buyers, let's say. What's the plan? Who do you buy?
What are you gonna? But then what do you have to pay to?
What do you give up? Yeah, exactly. What do you give up? What do you buy? And what are you actually chasing?
What, a playoff spot?
You're not chasing a title.
They're not chasing.
They might want to play for that glorified 9th and 10th seed and the play-in.
Well, Jelani, they'd have to make an incredible run to make top 6 in the Eastern Conference.
For me, I say just scrap it, right?
Yeah.
And
here's a watch.
I've been saying try to go young. So we've been talking about the young assets, right? In that, I would like to see more scoring here. I'd like to see more shooting here. So find a way to get that done. Even if it's a veteran guy, actually a vet too. Let's say you don't go young. Let's say you want to pick up a guy that's been around the league.
Like a Thad Young type pickup they did last year.
Like better than that though. Like, let's try for better than that. I want somebody that can hold down the fort offensively when called upon. Yeah. Right? It can't just be Pascal. It's been Pascal. Yeah. Right? And then maybe some nights with Scotty, Fred, Gary. But I want a consistent guy on the offensive side of the ball that could carry some of the load.
Yeah.
When I need him to. So maybe a vet in that aspect and other things I've been talking about all year The depth at center is terrible.
Yeah.
Okay, I just don't believe in it at all, and I think it's been an issue for a while. That's why we want Jakob Poeltl back, because we're like, oh man, we need a center up in here,
Garbage.
right? And the colloquial thing, he hasn't even gotten his development because that's Nick Nurse. And then with that being said, I also look at the point guard. Point guard spot has been okay, right?
Yeah.
On the court, we see that there's a lot of minutes given to Fred, right? And then what's behind him? Okay, Scotty will have action and stuff, but I think they need more depth at center and at point guard moving forward.
Yeah, I think one thing with this tank, I don't necessarily think it needs to be a complete teardown. I don't think you have to tear the house down completely.
Yeah, no, we're not the Hornets, but I think
the pieces
a
are there.
retool. A
You
retool.
need
retool.
you need
Pieces
a little
are there.
renovation.
Yes.
Renovation.
Yeah, this road trip will be interesting because it seems
Very.
like it's going to determine a lot. Okay, let's flip it quickly. NFL championship weekend. San Francisco 49ers plus
Should've been the
2.5. Should have been the
been.
Cowboys against the Eagles. You got Bengals and Chiefs. I'm going to give you my pick right off the bat.
Okay.
And it's not just one pick. If I can just pull it up. Hold on. There we go. All right, I'm teasing. 6-point teaser.
6-point teaser.
Niners plus 8.5. Bengals plus 7.5.
All the alt spreads, eh? Look, man, I think.
Let's hear it, man.
Look, I like it. I like your play, but if we're just talking straight about the game, look, I think Patrick Mahomes' ankle is the biggest concern. How does he look? All the footage they're leaking this week is he looks great.
He's a full participant.
Yeah, he's a full part. He's doing high knees. He's
He
walking.
did a spin.
Yeah, he did a spin and everything like that.
Well,
Look,
if you get an 80% Mahomes,
if you get 80% Mahomes,
better than,
that's
like,
still
almost every
that's
quarterback.
90% better than anybody. In
that's
the
what you
NFL,
might get, though, right?
right? So, but the biggest thing to me is the Bengals have so much confidence. They have
They be
so
talking
much
too.
confidence. They know they can go into Arrowhead. They're calling it
Burrowhead.
Burrowhead.
No, I love
They're
that.
calling it Burrowhead. And look, the Chiefs secondary, I don't know if they have the horses to match up with those guys on the Kansas City side of the ball. The Jamar Chases, the T. Higgins, the Tyler Boyds, the Joe Mixons, right?
Hayden Hurst balling.
Aiden Hurst, right? Can they stop those weapons, right? And the biggest thing to me was, and we talked about earlier, was what the Bengals did last week in Buffalo. I don't even talk about the whole game. I'm talking about the first drive.
I was shocked.
They took the
I was
ball. They
shocked.
went bing, 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 touchdown. That proved to me that this game was over.
It's an elite team.
It's a very elite team, and they play with a whole bunch of confidence. They're talking a little bit too much shit that
Eli
I like,
Apple, shout
but the Mahomes ankle, can he be effective in the moving his feet?
So
out
you
of the
tell me
pocket?
who are you picking?
I'm taking the Bengals.
You're going Bengals straight up. Money line.
Yeah.
Money line plus 110.
I had Chiefs Eagles Super Bowl. My pride wants me to stick on with the Chiefs, but my head is keep on telling me the Bengals,
Yeah.
the Bengals, the Bengals.
You know, based on what's going on with Mahomes, to me, this is a pick'em game. And even that leans towards the Bengals. Jelani.
Yeah, this game is tough. I don't want to go against my guy Mahomes, but I am.
You got to.
I'm going Bengals. I'm going Bengals. Burrowhead, right?
So you know how that goes. We're all going Bengals. It's going to go their way.
Yeah,
pretty
3
much.
3-0 against the guy. Okay, that's Burrow versus Mahomes head to head. And the problem is, the ankle, of course, but can they find a way to run the ball? The
Yeah,
Chiefs,
absolutely.
because they ran it well against the Jaguars. They won that game. But I don't see that this week because the Bengals have an underrated defense. To me, it always flies under the radar. Their defense has been playing well all year. They had a stretch where they didn't let people score in the second half. That was like a 7-game stretch. Lou Anarumo has these guys rushing the passer. That's what they're going to do this weekend, right? To get him off, get him out of the pocket.
Oh, they're targeting that ankle.
Yeah.
You know they are.
Yeah, so I
Absolutely.
think they're going to get after him, right? And then on the flip side, can they bother Burrow somehow? Because the Buffalo Bills did not show up. They didn't get off the bus. They didn't find a way to do that. That's why he was comfortable in the pocket, finding Jamar and
But
those
he
guys.
gets rid of the ball quickly too. That's
That
another
too.
thing
So
about Burrow.
I want to see, can Chris Jones make sure to draw those double teams to make sure that Frank Clark, who's 4th all time in playoff sacks with Reggie White, can he find a way
What a stats.
to? I know.
This guy's dropping
Can
knowledge.
he
right
find
now.
a way to bother Burrow?
Ex-Seahawk Frank.
If
Clark.
they don't, if Clark and Jones don't show up, they're losing the game.
Well done, man. This guy's
Losing
dropping
the game.
knowledge. Why can't
Knowledge,
you
bro.
bring that to the table?
I'm more the vibes type of guy.
I know,
you
I'm
know?
just busting your balls. Stevie Z, give me your pick. Give me Bengals or Chiefs.
His squad right now.
Let's hear it.
Bengals all day.
Oh,
Joe Burrow, let's go.
Bengals all around. That's scary. All right, the next game, you got Jalen Hurts against Brock Purdy.
Purdy Montana.
I think
Purdy
this
Montana.
is the end of the road for Mr. Purdy. I think if the Eagles score first and score a couple times,
Yeah.
I don't know how Purdy's going to come back from that.
Look,
He hasn't been in that situation yet.
I think Brock Purdy's the most overrated individual of all time. I think Brock Purdy, the fact that he's even nominated for Rookie of the Year is an absolute joke.
No, the Rookie of the Year
Nah,
thing
that-
is crazy.
that was
but
disgusting.
He
It
played
was
for
disgusting.
5
but
games.
Justin, you got to give the guy credit. You have to. Championship
Look,
game. I know the Niners
they
defense.
got the best roster in football, though.
No, I understand that.
You could probably take them to that NFC Championship game.
Nah, my arm's bad. I don't got a good arm. I'm more of a punter, you know?
But look, Philly has the best offensive line of football and probably one of the best defensive lines of football. Football is one in the trenches, right? And I think as good as Trent Williams is, a Hall of Famer left tackle, the horses they got on Philly's defensive end, and they have the secondary, one of the best secondaries in football. How are you going to stop that? How are they going to score points?
But have they played a team like the Niners? Though?
But here's the
true.
thing, though.
I don't know.
But here's the thing. They got Jalen Hurts. And Jalen Hurts can make plays, right? And A.J. Brown came on and talked about how I'm not a diva, I want the ball. I expect a big game from A.J. Brown because he's going up against a guy who plays similar, that very physical style receiver in Deebo Samuel, who gets all the love, right? Much deserved. And I think A.J. Brown's going to show up. But you know what? I'm a bad you-know-what, too.
Debo's going to need to have a huge game.
Absolutely.
But speaking of Hurts, like, he's the ultimate modern quarterback. He does everything.
He is, you guys know me. I'm a Cowboys fan, but he's what we wanted Dak to be. And it sucks to say that, but it's true, right? This guy's an MVP, maybe, right? And the problem is he could pass the ball. We're going to see that this weekend. Just touch on A.J. Brown. We're going to see it because the Niners, they struggled. Remember, they struggled with DK Metcalf wildcard. They struggled with CeeDee Lamb, okay? Now you're playing A.J. Brown, and Smith is right there too. So we'll see what happens there. That's why I want to see, can a guy other than Nick Bosa, and Nick Bosa hasn't really done much in these playoffs, actually. Can someone step up, bother Jalen Hurts? That's going to be the question, right? Because I don't know. The offensive line for the Eagles is tough.
I suspect Fred Warner's going to be spying
but
Jalen Hurts a whole
I
lot.
still think I got the Niners, though. That's my pick.
That's your pick. I was going to ask you.
My head is saying Eagles. My head is saying Eagles, but I'm going.
Dallas Cowboys heart.
I'm going with like just my other pick because I've been saying Chiefs Niners throughout the year, right? So I'm gonna stick with that Niners side. I think that they're gonna find a way to limit Jalen Hurts' legs, okay? Because he could run the ball. If he finds a way to run the ball all over the place, it's over, right? But I think the Niners, with the best run defense in the league, they're gonna be a different match for the Eagles. I know the Eagles run all over the place, but it's gonna be different. As for Purdy Montana, which I call him,
Purdy
Montana, he has not made a mistake, right? That's why they've been winning these games. Shanahan has him in the right spots, and that's why I have edge here to the Niners because I believe in Shanahan's plan, right? If he makes a mistake, it's over. So you got to play the cleanest game of your life, right? This is Philly, NFC champion. It's gonna be hype. It's gonna be different.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a clean game in the championship.
But and CMC, he got a
that's another
little
big
ailment, but we'll see what happens there. But I trust that this is gonna be a close game.
It's the Eagles.
It's gonna come down to
Eagles fly.
It's gonna come down to the running game because I think the Niners' running game will attack the Eagles are middle of the pack defense in terms of running game. Okay, 16th. So I think that they're gonna find a way. The Niners are gonna find a way to get hot in that aspect. If that happens, play action opens, it's over.
All right.
You just dropped it right there. What else more do you need? What else more do you need than that? Jelani dropping knowledge. Stevie Z, give us your pick.
Stevie.
Eagles, Niners.
Yeah, sorry, Brock Purdy, but the end of the road is
Yeah.
I was doing Sean's script, and I learned that the Eagles have, I believe, 70 sacks this year. So
Right.
Yes, it is true.
they're going to make life miserable for Brock Purdy.
So those
but I'm riding with the Eagles.
For those who don't know, Sean is he's a guy that works here.
Yes.
No one really likes him. He's from Hamilton. I'm just kidding. I love you, Sean. We're supposed to be 10 minutes here. We're well over 10 minutes.
Fine.
Let's
good
just
thoughts.
wrap this up.
Good
And
dialogue.
I have no idea who's actually in it. Royal Rumble pick. Who's winning the Rumble?
The Royal Rumble
Give it
pick.
to us.
This Saturday, WWE Royal Rumble, brother. Who's winning the Rumble?
I thought it was going to be The Rock, but all the reports are indicating The Rock will not show up. So I'm going to go with
You
Cody
look a little
Rhodes.
sad about that,
Yeah,
dude.
Man,
Depressed. This
the
guy's
last
depressed.
3-4 years, man, I've been dying to see The Rock versus Roman Reigns.
This
at
guy was
WrestleMania.
dying to throw on his Rock Under Armour tank top watch.
Absolutely. If you smell.
So who you got? Roman? No, Roman's the champ.
Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes. Jelani, do you?
Nah, bro.
No?
I
Not-
give this to Justin. He's the expert, bro.
All right, my guy, Stevie.
Randy Orton is
Randy, is he in it?
Is he in
I
it?
don't think Randy Orton's in the Royal.
Oh, God.
You might be.
We're just
Oh, okay,
Bret
Mac-
Hart.
Drew McIntyre is my
Drew
bad.
McIntyre. Okay.
Cody Rhodes. Is he still wrestling?
Yes, he's back with WWE.
Who do I know that's going to wrestle here?
Wrestle.
Who's wrestling? I'm going to go with The Undertaker. He seems to always win.
What?
All right, that's it for. Yeah. I'm going with the dead man. All right.
All right.
Well, that's it for the Homestand Sports Show. I don't even know if that's the name of the show, but we're going to go with it. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Homestand and visit homestandsports.com so you see more of me, but especially these guys. They're dropping knowledge all the time. Have a good weekend.